Hammers Walk Podcast.
Hello and welcome to Where Hammers Walk. We have today the usual crowd. We've got Billy Iron and Summertime Island.
and Andy Castle.
Thank you. How are we doing, Sam? How's your weekend been? How's today?
A nice, good old piss up on the stag. Recovered on Saturday, kind of, until West Ham played. Yeah, I don't know. We gave effort, didn't we, West Ham? We had effort. We got 2 goals, but it was absolutely shocking defending. All I can say is that, thank God, Tottenham and Forest both lost.
It was just, I don't know, it weren't the team we was expecting to come out, was it? Go on, Bill. What did you think of the game? How are you today? How was your weekend?
So weekend's been all football. Done a little fun day with Tommy and his football team and that, which was pretty good. Had a good kick around. Yesterday, obviously, weren't as much. Yeah, I played. I scored 2 goals. So,
good old left foot.
Against a blind man's team.
Matty Taylor coming back.
I tell you what, I played 2 games and that was it. I was KO'd. But
they were only 5 minutes each game half.
I nearly got knocked out by my tits. But anyway, back to West Ham. Obviously, I watched the game. I thought we gave a good contest, even though obviously the scoreline was 5-2. Looking back to obviously, a few weeks ago to where we are, we looked like we was competing with Liverpool. Even though we was letting a couple extra goals, we were still trying to score. We were still trying to attack. There weren't they scored a couple of goals. I ain't gonna bother no more. There weren't none of that. They were still fighting them, and then, obviously, he hasn't got a strong team. There isn't a strong team there that he can pick that can compete with Liverpool and Arsenal. So he's pretty much chancing his luck. Like the whole game is luck to him. Anything that he gets out of it is a bonus.
Yeah, no, exactly.
He's just hoping that Liverpool come out playing shit. Sorry,
I think we got a good team. It's just not a good squad.
No,
the substance still does.
Yeah, I think the late substitutions was a bit of a problem. Needed to see Wilson on there, didn't come. I think the substitute first one was about 70 minutes on the live. We said 70 minutes. Traore come on. It wasn't. So they didn't give up, but we started slow. It wasn't the momentum we've been in the last 4 or 5 games. It seemed like it was a sort of. It seemed like we was playing the FA Cup game again. If you get what I mean by that. It just wasn't connecting. We wasn't on that roll what we've normally been on. It was just a weird one. But hopefully we can pick it back up. It was probably about
I don't think that was a negative game to look at. Like at the end of the day,
not negative at all.
Tatty scored his first Premier League goal.
Second.
Yeah. Second.
I thought it was his first. I thought he scored in the cup games, and he hadn't scored in.
No, not both cup games. He scored in one, and then he scored a header, and then he scored that one.
Well, Tatty scored again. That's all that matters. That gives him a bit of confidence.
Exactly. It's only going to build. So you know, but I think we showed enough fight just to get through, but the defensive issues, which we've not seen for quite a long time, to be honest, they didn't look like they were a unit like they normally have been. I I just don't know what went on. I don't know if it was just
I
an off
think pressure
week,
got to him, maybe.
maybe. But then, to be honest, it was only about, 15-20% that we was going to win that game anyway.
Do you know
So if we
we
took
had more
anything,
possession than them?
yeah,
We had more
if we
possession
took
than them.
if we took anything from that game, we would have been lucky. To be honest, we would have been lucky. So in my eyes, it's the exact result. Maybe not the scoreline, but the exact result that we probably all knew. We was just hoping we could do something. You know.
Like what I've said
Um,
before, it's extra points, these games.
yeah.
It's not
You
for
know, we go
games
to
that's going to
Fulham.
decide.
We go to
And
Fulham,
they won today, didn't
and
they? They won against Tottenham.
yeah, Tottenham lost, Forest lost. So we're still in the exact same place of where we was when this weekend started. So now put this one away, put it behind us, go again on Wednesday, and let's show everyone what we can do. Fulham didn't look great. Defensively didn't look great. Attackingly, they look quite good. So that's probably a threat. So if our defence is on top again, we should be okay. You know, but again, I think we could have found the target a lot more than what we did. And can I put this to use? Why does it look like he's scared to be put into two up front?
Who?
He's not scared. It's just
No,
that
no.
we've not got Pedro Pablo. That was the
No,
system
but
of
then you
having
could play
two up top
Tatty
is
and
having
Wilson.
more. Yeah, but then you got no one else to come off the bench.
Yeah, but that's what. Yeah, but with Pablo,
No, but that's what I'm saying, off the
yeah,
bench
but
or
Pablo
anything.
worked with Tatty to start pressurising from the front. They had two pressurising. It was literally one behind the other, right? One go one way, one go the other, depending on where. Do you know what I mean? So like there was always one covering, but at the moment he's not there. Tatty's doing it all by himself. The other person that's in the
Exactly.
middle, right, is not the person that was planned to be there from the start.
Nope.
So
The thing is, we've not got anyone that can do what Pedro Pablo does. You know,
no,
Well, I
You've
would.
got
What I
people who
would
can do
do was
bits,
stick
but not
Wilson
whole.
up front, like top geezer, put Tatty in behind him, and then they work because they would have worked it on the training ground. So why aren't they working on it now? You know what I mean? So I'm not saying maybe start with two strikers, see how the game goes, and then if you need them goals, like we did when we was 2-0 down, 3-1 down, we needed that extra striker on.
but
Bowen's
if you,
not
but
looking
I
the
didn't
greatest this
actually think
season.
Pablo was a striker though, was he?
yeah.
He
He is.
scored
So
more than
what is
Tatty,
he an out
didn't
and out
he?
striker or is he like a
Yeah,
front line
he
striker?
mate. He was literally
More
banging in the
second.
goals at his previous club. He scored more than Tatty this season for his previous club. I think Tatty only scored 2 goals in his previous club. Pedro scored
goals.
4, but that was in like 15 appearances. Is it?
But the thing is, it's
Something
not
like
them.
that.
They're the ones. Them two, yeah, are the ones that pressurise the front line. So they make the mistake where that's where the Jared and the Somerville come in as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
But
because
to be
they haven't got that
why not
pressure
work
over
on
Jared
it?
Bowen and obviously Somerville, they're trying their best. You can see that they're still trying to attack from the front.
Oh, yeah.
But
Yep. But
it
then
just
why
didn't
not
work out
work on
against
it?
Liverpool.
You know,
That's all.
that's what I'm saying.
I
Why not
thought
work
I
on
thought
it
we held
in
our own.
training? No, we done well. The only negative is the defence on that game, and we let in 5 goals. You know,
Yeah.
3 from corner again.
3 from corner. You know, it is what it is. But
Little
again,
things starting to creep in. We've got to sort of knock it on the head.
exactly, and hopefully this is a reality check for them to be like, okay, we're not going to be winning every game, but as long as we're trying and we can win the winnable games, we should be should be safe. You know, I can still see us getting out. I really do. We've got 2 more games, Fulham City, before my prediction still is right. You know what I mean? With a
Well, you
break in
said
the middle,
before,
with
I
an
can,
FA
I
Cup.
can, I can
Or
possibly see. I can possibly see a win against Fulham, but I, Man City, I don't. I think Man City's a
We
no-no.
got no chance against City.
I'm not saying we'll win
Sorry,
against
sorry,
City, but we got 2 games. Even if we can claw a point, mate, you know what I mean.
If we do a
That's a game
0-0,
like a
I'd be
Liverpool,
pleased with a 0-0 or
yeah.
1-1.
But that's another game like
But that's
Liverpool where
because
you
of
wouldn't see
the
us winning
team.
it, but if we get anything, it's a bonus. You know, we'll be
Yep.
over the moon. We'll be singing.
But as long as Forest doesn't win or Tottenham doesn't win,
But hey, if we win against Fulham, the pressure's on them. You know what I mean? I don't know when Forest is playing, or if it's Tuesday or Wednesday. I'll have a quick look.
I'd
But
imagine it'd be Wednesday or Thursday if they played today.
well, they've got
I would
Europe,
said
haven't
They
they?
won't play
Wednesday.
before us when they played after us.
So they're not playing
So,
Tuesday. So Forest has got City on Wednesday. Spurs have got Palace on
but they've
Thursday.
got City. They've got City on Wednesday, and we've got City when Sunday.
No, next week because
No,
Monday is
because
the
we
cup
got
game.
FA Cup.
Oh, yeah, all right, yeah.
So it gives us a chance, more of
So
a
if we,
chance
so
than
if we get a win and a draw, and they get a lose and a lose, then we're in
a
for a
six.
good fight.
You know what I mean? That's 4 points. We could even overtake Tottenham at that point. At that point.
Yeah, but I think we need to focus on just 3 points here. We're
Oh
we're
yeah,
hoping
yeah.
for 4.
One
And let's
game
be
at a time.
realistic.
One game.
Let's be realistic. Right, Fulham we got a chance, but even Fulham is going to be hard.
Yeah,
Fulham's a
but then
very good
if
team,
they come out
Kelly.
with the
It
fight we've
depends.
had
It
for the last
depends.
4 or 5 weeks, we will get something from that game. If it's a point, it's a point. If it's 3, it's 3. But I don't think we need to be losing that game. That is
No.
something we need to be getting points out of. And with this Liverpool game, did you hear that they were taking the red cards off of people? And
And the flags.
there was even a teenager with a sweatshirt on about the board, and he got asked to take it off.
Yeah, it's disgrace. But
You know, it's got to that point where you're not even allowed to say anything about the board no more.
yeah, but
But
what's worrying is that was at Anfield. How
yeah,
on earth do they
but
have
I
any
have heard
power at
that the
Anfield?
stewards
They
felt
don't. That's the thing.
embarrassed because of it doing this. They felt embarrassed. There was some of them, you know, power happy, but most of them felt embarrassed by taking a piece of paper, and a sweatshirt, and it happened to a couple more kids as well about the board.
Mm,
You know, you weren't allowed taking
yeah,
banners, red cards, anything bad
yeah.
about the board. But I
But I
still
don't know
see
how.
that they were showing the red cards on the 15 minutes, so they didn't
Yeah,
succeed, did they?
no. But I don't know how they have the power to tell Anfield, to tell Liverpool like to do it. Liverpool should
Oh,
be like, no,
mate,
it's your
they've made
business.
something up.
You
They've obviously made
deal with
something
it
up.
at your stadium.
You know,
If
they've
it's
just
at West Ham
released.
Stadium, I see. But
Yeah, they've just released the club accounts, which is woeful, absolutely dreadful. You know, 200 and something mil loss in a season. You know what I mean? Uh, and then you want to be taking off a sweatshirt off of a teenager or off the teenagers. Like, really? You know what I mean? Like, there is no freedom of speech at our club, and that has to bloody change because that is a joke. It is an absolute joke, you know.
yeah. No, it's
But
the same with 50-50 scarves. For taking that away from people. I mean, I know a lot of people don't like it, but I do. But
I
Yeah,
love
we
a
know
50-50
that.
if you've
scarf.
got a 50-50 scarf, right? Just because I'm wearing half a scarf of a different team, it don't make me supporting the other
I
team.
got my Bournemouth one
It's
here,
bloody
mate, and that
obvious.
was
Would
from 2
you?
seasons ago.
So put it this way then,
Don't you
Summertime.
point that pen at me.
What about this?
Pointing at me.
What about this, right? Would you wear a half and half scarf if it had Millwall on the other half?
I wouldn't wear it, but I would buy it.
I'd buy it because it has the date on it, and
Exactly.
it shows you the games that
I
you've
couldn't
gone
have it in my
to.
house.
Yep.
Couldn't have it in my house.
I would.
You know,
I would, because I'd be
mate,
like, oh, I remember that game
if
when
we
we
win
beat Millwall
5-0
4-0.
against it, I would be
Yeah.
writing 5-0 on there. I'd be like,
I'd
come
be letting
on,
my ass
like,
with it.
with one end
Well, yeah.
anyway.
I'd cut the scarf in half and I'd stick it on the toilet.
But no,
But
that's down to tourism, though. That the half and half scarf, it's down to tourism because they can't tell if you. But I think that's a load of rubbish as well.
it
You know,
is.
you're taking
But-
things away
Yeah.
from the fans, which pay good money for. So if you had a top, right, and then I've got a shirt with Kudus on, and if I won that to a Tottenham game, right, with obviously on a West Ham end, and because it's got Kudos on, what, I wouldn't be allowed in?
I reckon you'd get beat up.
It's the same thing.
I reckon you'd get beat up.
Yeah, but he used to play when I bought that bloody top.
But it's a Judas, mate. It's
What's
a
even
Judas.
worse is the fact that it's stopping people recording at the stadium as well. I mean, not F1, but
I see that.
Mickey
I
Alcott.
record,
I see that. I see that.
yeah.
But
I mean,
you know, I do it. You know, but
That's
I think it
disgusting.
depends. But I think, to be honest though, it depends what you're saying about the club. Because if you're effing and jeffing about the club, why do they want that on there? Go somewhere else. I understand that, and I understand if they've actually played really bad, but you're doing it on their thingy. Like, you could walk down a little bit to Stratford and you could still see that stadium in the background. So why you got to do it right outside? Like, you know what I mean? That's my point. You know, if you're gonna be effing and jeffing and putting every player down, and to be honest, mate, if that was my business, I wouldn't want that on my doorstep. You know what I mean? I understand it.
Yeah.
You know, and all right, if you've done it for a long time or just started or whatever, but you know, if you're conducting yourself in the right way, you'll be allowed, surely. You know what I mean?
surely, yeah.
You know,
But it doesn't matter. We're not in the
a lot of
stadium,
people
so
look
what,
at
that's
negatives and
public.
just run with it. What's that?
That's not West Ham's. That's not West Ham's land. So
No,
at the end
no,
of
it's
the
London
day,
Stadium.
why? But at the end of the day, if we're not allowed to record in there because of West Ham, it's not West Ham's. It's not their land. What they do is they just rent it.
Yeah,
right?
but if you're renting,
Yeah,
so if
so-
I rent my house, mate,
They're
and if
not in
someone
the
comes onto
stadium,
my
not
front
outside.
garden, that is still my land if it's on my front garden. You know what I mean?
Right, and then but they
So
can
while
easily get a picture
you're-
off of it.
Exactly. You know, can you see it? Like, you know what I mean? If they've been told, but it might come from the London Stadium. We don't know. You know, we don't
Yeah,
know.
but the London
Unfortunately.
Stadium, they must love what they're reading at the moment. A club in absolute turmoil. Like,
Well, I
at
don't
the
know.
end of the
They'll lose
season,
money from it.
Yeah, but people say, like, I'm reading things like we're going to be selling all our players at the end of the season because we've had £104 million like loss.
No.
We're going to be selling Fernandez and Somerville and all of that because of how much they've spent. But then what I don't understand is, all this PSR and that, apparently next year it's not going to be around. So how are we?
Yeah, thank God for West Ham.
No, it's
Yeah,
changing.
but why? But
No, it's
why are we
changing.
panicking?
Yeah, but so it will come to a point where it's either the board will have to put it back in, but you know, right, quickly before we go over the time, Fulham game predictions. That's it. Go.
Didn't hear a word of what you just said. Bar Fulham predictions. Go.
2-1
That is what
West
I said.
Ham win.
Fulham predictions. Go.
2-0.
2-1 West Ham.
I'm gonna say 2-0. So that's all we got time for. There's only one thing left for us all to say. Come on, you Irons.
Come on,
Come on,
Jans.
Lions.
We're Hammers Walk Podcast.